Dear chosen one, have you ever wondered why you have always felt different, even in a room full of people? Have you ever questioned why your dreams stretch farther than the horizon others settle for? Have you ever paused to realize that while others are satisfied with the surface, you are drawn to the depths, searching, yearning, aching for something more? Dear chosen one, this is not by accident. It is not a flaw. It is a mark. It is a calling. Why do you see things no one else seems to notice? Why do you sense shifts in the atmosphere before a single word is spoken? Why does your spirit stir when others sleep soundly in complacency? It is because you were designed to perceive beyond the natural. You were born to hear the whispers of destiny while others are still chasing echoes. The fire in your chest, the visions in your dreams, the weight in your heart that refuses to be silenced, these are not coincidences. These are confirmations. Dear chosen one, many have overlooked you. Many have misunderstood you. Some have even tried to mold you into a smaller version of yourself to make themselves more comfortable. But no matter how hard you tried to fit in, you could never shrink your soul enough to satisfy a world that was never built for your spirit. Every attempt to blend in only sharpened your awareness that you were set apart. You were born for more. You were born to see the unseen, to believe the unbelievable, and to endure the unendurable. You carry an ancient weight in your bones, a legacy not of this world, but of a higher order. You are not merely another face in the crowd, another name on a list, another fleeting voice in the wind. You are a living testament that the divine still moves among men, still chooses the unlikely, still ignites the overlooked with an unquenchable fire. This unsettling feeling you have carried, the relentless tug on your soul, the voice that kept whispering to you in the midnight hour when everyone else was asleep. It was never your imagination. It was heaven calling you by name. It was destiny announcing itself long before the world recognized your worth. Dear chosen one, hear me clearly. It is not by accident that you are here at this moment, breathing this air, hearing these words. No mistake, no misstep, no detour could disqualify you. You were hand-picked, forged in fire, refined through trials, and now summoned for a time such as this. It is not by chance that you are here. You have been chosen. Lonely roads were preparing you for kingdom paths. Dear chosen one, there are seasons in the life of every chosen soul when the weight of your calling feels heavier than any crown. Loneliness creeps in. Not like a sudden storm, but like a slow, relentless fog wrapping itself around your spirit. It is a loneliness not born from being unloved, but from being unseen, from carrying dreams too large for small conversations and visions too sacred for casual company. You walk among many, but you belong to few. Every gathering feels slightly hollow, every laughter somewhat distant, as if you are watching life through a pane of glass that no one else even knows exists. And then comes the doubt, as inevitable as the tides. Not the loud accusations of your enemies, but the subtle, sharp-edged questions from those closest to you. They look at your conviction with wary eyes, their words polite but heavy with suspicion. Are you sure? They ask. Is it wise to dream that big, to walk that road alone? Their doubts drip into your heart like slow poison. And even when you know your purpose is real, even when you feel the fire of destiny burning in your bones, their skepticism gnaws at the edges of your faith. In these moments, dear chosen one, you feel the sting of being misunderstood, not by strangers, but by those you once trusted to hold your heart. Your steps falter under the weight of their silence. Their polite distance becomes a mirror reflecting every secret fear you have ever had about your worth, your sanity, your destiny. And you wonder, even if only for a fleeting, shameful second, whether you have lost your way entirely. You find yourself wandering through seasons of isolation that feel endless. like a traveler forced to journey through a night with no moon, no stars, no compass to guide them. It is a journey where the familiar fades, where every step forward feels like sinking deeper into unknown territory. The paths once crowded with companions grow empty, leaving only the sound of your breath and the whisper of the unseen guiding you forward. And though you keep moving, a part of your heart aches for even the faintest light to pierce the darkness. The pain is real. It does not wear the grand robes of heroic suffering, but the raw, battered garments of silent, private grief. Nights when you sit with your head in your hands, feeling the weight of dreams that no longer feel like promises but like punishments. Mornings when you rise with leaden limbs, pulling yourself forward because something deeper than your emotions demands that you do not quit. The ache becomes a companion, a silent witness to the battles you fight where no one is watching. The ordinary ones, those who have not been marked by the fire of calling, will never understand this kind of journey. Their roads are well lit and crowded. They move in packs, drawing comfort from the noise, from the approval of the many. Their lives are built around the safety of sameness, the security of predictable paths. They do not wrestle with invisible giants. They do not bleed for visions only their hearts can see. They do not wake in the middle of the night with tears burning their eyes because they feel the pull of a destiny too large to fit inside their current life. Dear chosen one, your path was never meant to mirror theirs. You were never meant to be content with what merely satisfies. You were crafted for more, for greatness, etched in the unseen realms long before your first breath. And greatness, true greatness, is always birthed in isolation, forged in the fires of loneliness, hardened in the crucible of rejection. Imagine a ship built not for the calm of the harbor, but for the fury of the open sea. Its hull reinforced to withstand the storms, its sails sewn to catch the fiercest winds. You, beloved, are that ship. The world will not applaud you during your building season. They will not cheer when your foundations are being dug deep into unseen soil. In fact, they will question your silence. They will mistake your solitude for failure, your hiddenness for insignificance. But know this: seeds do not bloom in the open air. They break quietly and violently, deep within the darkness of the earth. And so must you. Every ache you endure, every tear you shed, every lonely mile you walk is counted by heaven. None of it is wasted, not one moment. For while the world ignores your planting season, heaven is preparing your harvest. While man overlooks you, God overshadows you. While others celebrate hollow victories won without resistance, you are being prepared for a triumph so weighty it will shake foundations. Dear chosen one, there will be times when the silence screams louder than any enemy. When the road ahead blurs under the flood of your own doubt. When the only light you see is the fragile flame of hope trembling in your own chest. Do not despise these moments. They are sacred. They are the forge where unshakable faith is born, where true identity is revealed, where destiny is sealed. You must understand, your isolation is not abandonment, it is consecration. The loneliness is not punishment, it is positioning. You are not lost, you are hidden, protected by divine hands until the appointed time of your revealing. Others may run ahead, chasing applause and empty crowns. But you, dear one, you are being sculpted for a kingdom no human hand can build. And so when the nights grow long and the silence grows loud, remember, you are not walking through the dark alone. You are walking toward the dawn. You are walking toward the fulfillment of promises spoken over your life before time began. You are moving, not away from destiny, but straight into its very heart. Hold fast to this truth when doubt comes knocking. Anchor yourself in it when fear howls in the night. Let it be the song that carries you when strength fails. the battle cry that rises from your spirit when all other sounds fall away. Dear chosen one, hear this and let it settle deep into the marrow of your bones. You are not alone. Heaven is watching your every step. Will you settle for safety or dare to touch immortality? Dear chosen one, look around at the world we live in today. Can you see it? Can you feel it? The thick, invisible walls closing in around the souls of men. Most live not in freedom, but in invisible prisons built by their own fears. They wake up not with a fire in their hearts, but with a dull lake of obligation. They move through life like ghosts trapped in routines they never chose, whispering dreams they were too scared to chase. Safety, comfort, predictability. These have become their gods, and in worshipping them, they have surrendered their birthright for a counterfeit version of life. Society rewards the compliant. It praises those who color within the lines, who stay inside the box, who silence their hunger for something more. It teaches from an early age, dream small, don't rock the boat, don't want too much, fit in, stay low, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a sliver of happiness if you behave. They offer a life where survival is the goal, where mediocrity is normalized, where greatness is viewed as arrogance and daring is treated as foolishness. Look closer and you will see it in their eyes. The flickering remnants of dreams they buried long ago. The restless sighs as they scroll through their lives like spectators rather than participants. Most have traded destiny for security, vision for validation, calling for comfort. They live inside invisible cages, shackled not by chains but by the fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of standing alone. They have mistaken the absence of risk for the presence of peace, not realizing that the slow decay of the soul is a far crueler fate than any failure could ever be. But you, dear chosen one, you are different. You were never built to exist inside those walls. You were not crafted to live a small, tidy life. Your spirit recoils at the thought of settling for less than the fullness of your divine assignment. While others make homes inside their fears, you are called to tear down the very structures that imprison them. You are the one who refuses to blend into the grayness of conformity, the one who hears the ancient call of greatness and answers, even when your knees shake. You see, the crowd will always choose safety over destiny. They will cling to what is familiar, even if it slowly kills them, because at least it is known. They will scoff at the ones who break free, calling them reckless, arrogant, naive. They will point at the fallen and say, "See, this is why you should never try." And yet every step forward you take, every act of courage you embody, exposes the lies they have built their lives upon. And that is why they fear you. That is why they resist you. Because in your rising you reveal their resignation. In your movement you mirror their stagnation. In your refusal to bow to fear, you challenge their worship of comfort. Your very existence becomes a rebellion against everything they have accepted as inevitable. The question stands before you now like a roaring fire, demanding an answer from your soul. Will you choose safety, or will you choose immortality? Will you choose to blend in with the world sleepwalking toward irrelevance, or will you dare to carve your name into eternity? Will you trade the shallow applause of the many for the eternal reward of the few? Most will never understand the price you pay for your difference. They will not see the nights you spend wrestling with doubt, the sacrifices you make in silence, the tears that fall when no one is watching. They will not recognize the weight you carry because it is invisible to those who have never lifted anything heavier than public opinion. They will not hear the battles raging inside your heart because they have long since silenced their own. But heaven sees, heaven records, heaven prepares. Dear chosen one, the narrow road was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to be conquered. The world does not need more who will fit in. It cries out for those who will stand out, stand firm, stand tall in the face of overwhelming pressure. The world is desperate for those who will break the cycles of fear and model what it means to live in fullness, in fire, in the ferocity of divine purpose. You must understand the stakes are higher than your comfort. Your decision ripples beyond your life alone. You are building bridges for those too afraid to dream. You are blazing trails for generations who will walk roads made smooth by your sacrifice. You are carrying torches through the wilderness so that others may one day find the path home. Your courage is not just for you. It is the catalyst for the liberation of many. So I ask you again, will you choose the small safe life handed to you by a fearful world, or will you seize the blazing, immortal calling placed inside your bones by the hand of God Himself? Will you shrink to fit the mold, or will you shatter it? Will you quietly decay, or will you roar into history as one who dared to live fully, love fiercely, and believe beyond what the eye could see? There is no middle ground, dear one, not for you. The mark upon you is too great, the calling too urgent, the anointing too powerful to be contained inside the fragile structures of societal approval. You were designed for more. You know it. You have always known it. That restless ache inside you, that insatiable hunger, that voice that refuses to be silenced, these are not defects. They are signs. They are divine breadcrumbs leading you back to the truth of who you are. When you look into the mirror, you do not see what the world sees. You glimpse the warrior beneath the weariness, the prophet beneath the pain, the king or queen beneath the questions. You see the blueprint of a life so impactful, so radiant, so undeniably glorious that it demands the fullness of your faith, your focus, your ferocity. The world will try to tame you. It will try to shrink you. It will try to soothe your hunger with counterfeit comforts and distract you with petty battles. But if you listen closely, you will hear a different drumbeat. A rhythm older than time, louder than fear, stronger than death. It is the call of destiny. It is the roar of the chosen, rising. So choose wisely. Choose fiercely. Choose as if generations depend on your courage, because they do. The safe path leads to slow death. The dangerous path leads to eternal life. The box they offer you is a coffin disguised as a castle. Step out, step up, step into the fire, and watch how it crowns you instead of consuming you. Your legacy is not written by the hands of the crowd. It is etched by the hands of the Almighty. Through every brave step you dare to take, the world waits, holding its breath. What will you choose? The darkest nights birth the brightest warriors. And dear chosen one, there comes a moment in every sacred journey where the sky turns black and even the stars seem to vanish. It is the place few speak of, the valley hidden between promise and fulfillment. It is here, in the dead of night, that the chosen one faces the fire not seen by human eyes. The fire of betrayal, of abandonment, of devastating loss. It is a wilderness so raw, so merciless, that it strips away every illusion of safety you once clung to. You remember the faces, don't you? The ones who once swore loyalty, who praised your vision when it cost them nothing, but fled the moment your path demanded more than their comfort could afford. You felt their absence like knives between your ribs, sharp, cold, unforgiving. You tasted the metallic bitterness of their betrayal when you needed their support the most, only to find empty echoes where their voices once stood. Some left with explanations too polished to be sincere. Others didn't bother with words at all, vanishing like mist at dawn, leaving only silence behind. Then came the losses that hollowed you out in ways words could never explain. Dreams you nurtured with trembling hands crumbled into dust before your eyes. Opportunities you had prayed for disintegrated just as you reached for them. People you loved with a loyalty fierce enough to bleed for walked away without so much as a backward glance. Everything that felt stable was ripped from beneath your feet, and you fell not onto soft earth, but into an abyss of confusion, isolation, and heartache. This was not the kind of pain that merely stings for a season. It was the kind that redefines you, the kind that forces you to either collapse or become something stronger than steel. Nights stretched into eternities, each hour longer than the last. You cried until the tears dried up, and all that was left was a hollow ache that no comfort could touch. You woke up to mornings that felt more like punishments than beginnings. You questioned not just the path, but your very worth. Had you misunderstood the calling? Had you been foolish to hope? And yet, somewhere deep in the marrow of your soul, even as you questioned everything else, a flicker of faith refused to die. You could not explain it, and you certainly could not feel it most days, but it lived there, a stubborn ember in the ruins, whispering that this darkness was not the end, that somehow this too was a part of the design. I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Isaiah 48:10. You see, beloved, the furnace was not your punishment. It was your preparation. It was in the fire of abandonment that you learned who you were when no one else was watching. It was in the devastation of loss that you discovered the unbreakable core God had hidden inside you. It was through betrayal that your eyes were opened, not just to the hearts of men, but to the faithfulness of heaven. While others mistook your suffering as defeat, heaven saw your endurance as an offering. Every time you stood when it would have been easier to fall, every time you chose hope when despair was the easier option, every time you walked another step with bloodied feet and a breaking heart, you were forging a strength the world could not take away. The chosen ones are not crowned on stages bathed in applause. They are crowned in the unseen, in the dirt and the darkness, when no one is cheering, when no one is coming to rescue them. It is here that the real coronation happens, in silence, in agony, in surrender. And oh, how heaven weeps with you during those nights. Make no mistake, beloved, your cries did not go unheard. Your sleepless nights, your whispered prayers, your broken-hearted worship, they rose like incense before the throne of God. Not a single tear was wasted. Not a single groan went unnoticed. For he who formed you has never turned his face away, even when you thought you had been abandoned. He was there when you collapsed onto the floor, fists pounding the ground in frustration. He was there when the walls of loneliness pressed in so tightly you could hardly breathe. He was there when you begged for just one sign that you had not made a mistake by believing. And though his voice may have seemed silent, his hands were never idle. He was shaping you, dear one. He was forging you in the fire. Most people never reach the fullness of their calling because they cannot survive this season. The darkness scares them into retreat. The loneliness convinces them they must have been wrong. The betrayal poisons their hearts until they can no longer trust the God who called them. But you, chosen one, you endured. Battered, yes, bruised, certainly, but still breathing, still moving, still believing in a God you could not always feel, but somehow still trusted. That stubborn faith, the faith that clings when everything else falls away, is the faith that moves mountains. It is the faith that shakes kingdoms. It is the faith that builds legacies measured not in fleeting applause, but in eternal impact. And now, even as you stand on the other side of that long, dark night, you carry something far greater than anything you lost. You carry authority. You carry intimacy with God that cannot be faked. You carry wisdom birthed from wounds. You carry a story that has the power to resurrect others. The darkness taught you things the light never could. It taught you that your worth is not tied to applause, that your calling is not contingent on companionship, that your victory is not dependent on visibility. You learned to walk blind, guided only by the whisper of a voice greater than your circumstances. You are not defined by the losses you endured. You are defined by the courage that would not let you quit. You are not remembered in heaven for the times you stumbled, but for the times you refused to stay down. This world loves the appearance of strength, the shiny, polished, Instagram-worthy version of perseverance. But heaven honors a different kind of warrior. Heaven crowns those who fought invisible battles, who bled in silence, who kept building altars in wastelands no one else would touch. You are such a one. So the next time the darkness tries to whisper that you were forgotten, remind it who you are. Remind it who walks beside you. Remind it who called you. You are the product of fire and faith, not of failure. You were never abandoned. You were refined. And now, dear chosen one, the light that awaits you is not the fragile kind the world gives. It is the blinding, overwhelming glory of a life truly surrendered and fully alive. The worst is behind you. The refining is complete. Now comes the rising, and heaven, beloved, is already preparing the crown. Where the world laughed, heaven took note. Dear chosen one, before the world saw the triumphs, the awards, the million-dollar contracts, there were nights so cold, so cruel, that the dream nearly died in silence. Before Tyler Perry became a titan of the entertainment industry, there was a man sleeping in his car, shivering under thin blankets, wondering if anyone would ever care about the plays he was pouring his soul into. He invested every dollar he had into producing his first stage play, only to face near-empty theaters, blank seats staring back at him like accusations. Friends turned into skeptics. Family members stopped answering his calls. There were moments Tyler stood backstage, clutching a script no one wanted to hear, fighting back tears that threatened to swallow him whole. The shame of failure clung to him like a second skin. Nights passed without food, mornings came without hope. Every logical voice in his life told him to quit, to get a real job, to accept defeat. But something deep inside him, the voice of the chosen, refused to die. In those moments of soul-crushing rejection, Tyler wasn't just surviving, he was being forged. The man who would one day own one of the largest film studios in America was shaped not in luxury, but in loneliness, hunger, and relentless faith. And then there was Viola Davis. Before her name became synonymous with power, grace, and excellence, there was a little girl digging through maggot-infested garbage bins to find food. There was a young woman standing on stage in New York City, pouring her guts into auditions, only to be dismissed without a second glance. Directors looked through her, producers told her without shame that she wasn't glamorous enough, not marketable enough, too dark-skinned, too poor, too much. Every room she entered carried an invisible wall she could not cross. The world had written its verdict. Viola Davis was not enough. And some days she believed them. Some days the weight of poverty and prejudice nearly crushed the breath from her lungs. She would walk the streets with holes in her shoes, ashamed of how hard it was just to survive. But in those invisible battles, something holy was forming. Every no, every sneer, every slammed door was etching a deeper reservoir of strength into her spirit. Viola was being prepared for a spotlight so bright that when it finally turned her way, it would be impossible to ignore. And what of Paulo Coelho, the man who dreamed of telling a story the world would treasure? Long before The Alchemist became a literary phenomenon, Paulo faced a gauntlet of rejection so brutal that most would have surrendered. 27 publishers slammed the door in his face. 27 times he was told that his story was foolish, that no one would ever read it, that his voice had no place in the literary world. Can you imagine that kind of dismissal? To hold your heart in your hands and watch it be tossed aside again and again like something worthless. Paulo doubted. He ached. He questioned the very fabric of his dreams. Friends urged him to move on, to pick a safer path. And there were nights he wanted to. Nights where the weight of the word failure felt too heavy to carry. But something deeper than fear anchored him. A knowing, a whisper call. That refusal to let go, that stubborn belief that his story mattered even when the world said otherwise, that was his real victory. It wasn't when millions bought his book. It was when he dared to believe while standing alone. Rejection is the secret passage to greatness, not the applause, not the awards, the lonely road where no one believes in you but God, where every no carves out a deeper yes waiting in the wings of destiny, where silence becomes sacred, where you realize the promise was never about comfort but about calling. Your courage is building a bridge for generations unborn. Dear chosen one, have you ever paused to feel it? The invisible line stretching back through centuries, the blood in your veins carrying the dreams of ancestors you never met, the prayers whispered by trembling lips in darkened rooms long before your name was ever spoken into existence. You are not standing here by accident. You are the answer to battles fought in silence. You are the embodiment of hopes too sacred to die. You are the bridge between the pain of the past and the promise of the future. This is not just about you. Every step you take, every fear you conquer, every dream you refuse to let die is not isolated. It echoes, it ripples. It plants seeds in ground you may never see but that your descendants will one day walk upon. When you rise, you lift not just yourself, but an entire lineage chained too long by fear, silence, compromise. Your bravery is the breakthrough your bloodline has prayed for. When you choose courage, you are rewriting stories told in hushed regret at kitchen table. You are undoing generations of dreams deferred. Can you feel it yet? That sacred weight resting on your shoulders? It is not a burden of shame, but a mantle of glory. You were never meant to merely exist, to simply pass through life unnoticed and unfulfilled. You were meant to blaze, to illuminate, to initiate a movement so fierce that history itself must pause to acknowledge your name. You are a living altar, a testimony to what faith, perseverance, and divine anointing can birth through one surrendered soul. Somewhere, long ago, someone in your bloodline wept prayers you are now living the answers to. They may have been too broken to step into their dreams, too bound by the chains of circumstance, but their spirit lived on, searching, waiting for someone willing to pay the price. You are that someone. You are the wildest dreams of your ancestors made flesh. Your life is not your own. It is a continuation, a culmination, a coronation of sacrifice and destiny colliding in sacred fire. Chosen one, lift your head higher, straighten your spine, feel the wind of legacy at your back. When you doubt yourself, remember, you carry the voice of generations, silent no more. Their unfinished songs, their unspoken visions, their unbuilt bridges. These live in your hands now. You are not just chasing your own victory. You are erecting monuments of hope for children not yet born. You are building cathedrals in the spirit where future souls will find refuge. Your courage today is architecture for tomorrow. Picture it. Your descendants, years from now, standing taller because you refuse to bow, walking freer because you refuse to be shackled, dreaming louder because you refuse to be silenced. They will speak your name with reverence, not because you were perfect, but because you were relentless. Because when the world begged you to shrink, you chose to expand. When fear demanded your surrender, you chose to fight. When the night was darkest, you chose to keep moving, trusting that dawn was inevitable. Every sacrifice you make now echoes into eternity. Every no you utter to temptation, every yes you declare to destiny, every step you take when your legs shake under the weight of unseen burdens, it all matters. Heaven records it. The future depends on it. Your yes is unlocking blessings your eyes may never see, but that your spirit has already claimed. You are threading a needle through time, stitching broken histories into a seamless future. You are more vital than you know, so do not grow weary. Do not second-guess your significance. You are standing at the crossroads of past pain and future power, and the choice you make today, to believe, to build, to endure, will tip the scales for generations. When you pray, you are shaking the foundations of battles yet to come. When you act in obedience, you are planting trees whose shade you may never sit under, but whose shelter will cradle countless lives. Your story is bigger than applause, bigger than comfort, bigger than today's struggles. You are called to be a cornerstone, a starting point, a divine disruption in a long line of silent suffering. You are a pioneer, carving rivers through dry wastelands, so others may drink deep from wells you will never see filled. Listen closely. Feel the sacred heartbeat in your chest. It is not just your own. It is the rhythm of 1,000 ancestors urging you forward. It is the drumbeat of heaven quickening at your courage. You were never alone. You were never abandoned. You are an army of prayers wrapped in skin, walking through battles already won in the spirit. Every time you rise, a generation rises with you. Remember this truth, chosen one. You are not just living. You are legacy in motion. You are destiny unfolding. You are the proof that what tried to kill your family line failed. You are the evidence that light cannot be extinguished by darkness. You are the dawn generations have hungered for, and heaven watches with bated breath to see what you will do next. The question is no longer whether you are ready. The question is whether you will dare to become the ancestor someone else will thank God for. You are not just surviving, dear chosen one. You are awakening a lineage. You are setting a course. You are making the mountains move. And somewhere far beyond the veil of time, your descendants are already rising to their feet, applauding the moment you decided to say yes. The gates you once wept before are breaking wide open. Dear chosen one, the ground beneath your feet has begun to tremble. Can you feel it? The rumbling deep within the soil where you once planted seeds, with hands shaking from exhaustion and eyes blurred by tears. The earth is not silent anymore. It is preparing to break open, to unleash everything you fought for, everything you bled for, everything you believed for when no one else could see the vision you carried in your spirit. This is not the hour for hesitation. This is not the season for retreat. This is the moment of eruption. The harvest is here. The doors you once knocked on until your knuckles were raw, the doors you wept against, begging God for a way through, are now swinging wide open, but not with the old you limping in shame. No, you are stepping through crowned in triumph, wrapped in the royal garments of perseverance, crowned by the very battles you thought would destroy you. The spaces that once rejected you are now being restructured to accommodate your arrival. Rooms that once ignored your presence are now setting tables in your honor. Chosen one, listen closely. The heavens have aligned for your unveiling. The rivers that once seemed dry are now bursting forth in abundance. The fields that once mocked you with their barrenness are now bowing low, heavy with the fruit of your faith. There is no more striving, there is no more begging, there is only stepping boldly into what was prepared for you from the beginning of time. The walls you faced weren't meant to imprison you, they were meant to strengthen your spirit, so that when they broke, you wouldn't just walk through, you would erupt into destiny. You were forged in darkness for a moment such as this. You endured the long nights, the lonely valleys, the suffocating silences, because God was building a foundation inside you that could bear the weight of a kingdom. Now that foundation is ready. Now the gates are swinging wide, not because you forced them, but because your faith demanded it. The caged dreams are breaking open, the locked opportunities are bursting free, the prayers you whispered through clenched teeth are erupting into reality. The world may think this is sudden, but heaven knows it is long overdue. Every tear you sowed was a down payment, every lonely decision was an investment. Every moment you chose to believe instead of breaking apart added weight to the unstoppable momentum now carrying you forward. The spiritual contractions you endured were not signs of death. They were the birthing pains of your calling coming alive. This is the season where everything shifts. The relationships you thought were lost for good will be replaced with alliances forged by divine design. The finances that once strangled you in fear will now flow like rivers you cannot control. The platforms that seemed unreachable are now extending invitations. Not because of manipulation, not because of performance, but because God is a debtor to no man, and what you have sown in faith you must now reap in abundance. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season of commanded blessing, not a trickle, a flood, not a whisper, a roar, not a suggestion, a decree from the very throne room of heaven. Your obedience has activated something irreversible. What once resisted you will now recognize you. What once ignored you will now invite you. What once dismissed you will now celebrate you. The barren land is trembling under the weight of your promised harvest. Understand this. You are not entering this season empty-handed. You are walking in with keys forged by sacrifice, authority built in silence, wisdom paid for with pain. You are no longer the person who started this journey years ago. You have been refined, redefined, reborn through fire. And now the fire you walk through will serve as a beacon to guide others out of their darkness. It is no longer time to pray for the door to open. It is time to step through the door that is already swinging on its hinges. It is time to claim the territory that was always yours. It is time to sit at the tables where your name has been whispered in reverent awe behind closed doors. It is time to inherit the lands you once only dreamed of from a distance. Crown yourself in the authority heaven has placed upon you. Stand tall in the anointing that has been marinated through years of unseen obedience. You are not an imposter. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are the fulfillment of promises whispered before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are the realization of prayers that shook heaven's gates. Do you see it? Do you feel it? Can you sense how the spiritual atmosphere is trembling in anticipation of your full emergence? Creation itself has been groaning for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God, and that revealing is now. The time of hiddenness is over. The hour of unveiling has arrived. The caged lion inside of you is roaring to be released. The mantle resting on your shoulders is demanding to be carried into battle. This is not rehearsal anymore. This is the grand performance destiny wrote into the script of your life. Chosen one, you must break open now. You must unleash what was placed inside you when God breathed life into your lungs. You must erupt onto the battlefield, not as a tentative soldier, but as a crowned conqueror. The season of quiet prayers is giving way to a season of thunderous manifestations. What once lived only in your dreams will now materialize before your eyes. What once seemed like faint hope will now stand as undeniable evidence of divine fulfillment. Do not apologize for the blessing. Do not shrink under the weight of favor. Do not explain the acceleration. You paid for this season with private tears, with lonely obedience, with sacrifices few ever witness. Let your crown rest heavy on your head. Let your steps shake the ground. Let your voice echo with the authority of one who has walked through fire and emerged refined, not reduced. This is the season where the rejected stone becomes the cornerstone. The forgotten seed becomes the towering tree. The wounded soul becomes the unstoppable warrior. You have crossed the threshold. You have survived the testing. You have outlasted the opposition. And now you will occupy the promise. Crown yourself, chosen one. Walk boldly through the doors. Speak life into the rooms. Build altars where others built idols. Transform the atmosphere wherever you tread. The wait is over. The crown is yours. The harvest is here. The door you once pounded on with desperate fists is now standing wide open. And you, dear chosen one, are not crawling through it broken. You are stepping through it crowned. Seal your destiny. Heaven is listening. Dear chosen one, if your spirit is burning right now, if your soul is trembling with the certainty that this message was not an accident, but a divine appointment, then it is time to respond. Destiny is not a concept. It is a covenant. It is a sacred contract, signed not in ink, but in faith, sealed not by hands, but by hearts that dare to believe they were born for more. I am calling you now from the deep places of your spirit to step forward boldly. This is not a casual invitation. This is a summons from heaven itself. If you know, deep down, that you have been marked for such a time as this, then I ask you, here and now, to declare it. Drop 7707 in the comments. Not as a number, not as a ritual, but as a declaration before the throne of God and all creation that you are stepping fully into your divine destiny. 7707 is the signature of heavenly completion, the mark of divine alignment, the seal of spiritual readiness. When you comment 777, you are signing your name onto a sacred scroll, written in the courts of heaven, that proclaims, I will not shrink, I will not retreat, I will not betray the calling placed inside me. I will rise, I will build, I will reign according to the purpose for which I was created. If you feel led, read this short oath aloud wherever you are. I, a chosen one, do solemnly declare, I will no longer bow to fear, I will no longer dim my light for comfort. I embrace my calling, I accept my crown. I walk boldly into the destiny God has prepared for me. What heaven has decreed, no man can deny. I am chosen, I am ready, I am unstoppable. Let your spirit say yes. Let your fingers type 777 as your seal of agreement. Let heaven record your name among those who dared to believe, those who chose obedience over convenience, faith over fear, legacy over comfort. This is the moment that divides watchers from warriors, dreamers from doers, the called from the chosen. You know who you are. The heavens are watching, the earth is trembling, the doors are swinging wide. Declare it now, chosen one. Sign your covenant. Mark your moment. The future is waiting for your yes. You will plant seeds that bloom beyond your lifetime. Dear chosen one, the rewards awaiting you are not merely silver or gold, not simply fleeting applause or mortal crowns. What is coming to you cannot be contained in a bank account, a trophy case, or even in the whispers of men. It is deeper, vaster, eternal. It is a reward that heaven itself watches over with jealous eyes, a veneration that transcends human measurement and slips into the folds of eternity. When you answered the call, you did not just change your own destiny. You shifted the destiny of generations unborn. You cracked open a future that will echo far beyond the years you walk this earth. The seeds you are planting now, in tears, in faith, in unseen sacrifice, are seeds that will blossom into forests of righteousness, towers of hope, rivers of light that will flood dry lands you may never physically see. You will sow into fields you will never walk. You will build foundations for cities you may never enter. You will unleash movements that will sweep across continents and hearts, igniting fires that no darkness can extinguish. You are not just living for today, you are forging a future where chains are broken because you dared to rise. You are engraving your spirit into the stones of history, leaving behind an invisible but indelible legacy that says, someone stood when standing cost everything. Someone believed when belief was costly. Someone loved when the world grew cold. Heaven sees, heaven remembers. While the world measures by numbers, likes, titles and salaries, heaven measures by obedience, by sacrifice, by the unseen yes that echoes in eternity. Your reward is not limited to earthly treasures. Your name will be sung among the angels, honored among the hosts of heaven, inscribed on scrolls that men cannot erase. Imagine it, the quiet smile of God as He watches you endure, the armies of heaven standing in silent awe as you take one more step, when everything within you says to stop. Imagine walking into eternity not empty-handed, but carrying the fruits of a life that mattered beyond yourself, a life that shattered limitations, a life that poured out light into generations that had never even heard your name. You will become a living bridge, a highway of hope stretching from today into forever. The echo of your faithfulness will outlive the buildings, the titles, the trends. Long after history books have faded and kings have been forgotten, the lives you touched, the spirits you awakened, the destinies you unlocked, will continue to ripple through time. You are sowing gardens that you will not always see bloom with your physical eyes, but heaven will open its windows and show you glimpses in moments of silence, whispers of fulfillment, flashes of divine joy. One day, on the other side of this life, when all veils are lifted, you will see clearly. Every tear was a seed, every sacrifice was a river, every lonely step was a symphony of legacy composed in the halls of heaven. You, chosen one, are the rare breed who understands that true wealth is measured in souls touched, lives elevated, darkness pushed back. You understand that real success is not in being known by the world, but in being known in heaven as one who obeyed against all odds. The crowns you will receive are not of this earth. They are crowns of perseverance, crowns of righteousness, crowns of obedience, shining brighter than any earthly jewel. And you will cast them at the feet of the one who called you, knowing every breath of your journey was worth it. You are the planter of vineyards you may never drink from, the builder of cities you may never live in, the pioneer of roads. Countless others will walk safely because you dared to forge them through wilderness and warfare. You are the lighthouse for lost ships, the hidden intercessor for broken generations, the unshakable pillar that refuses to bow though the earth trembles. In the spirit realm, your name will be known, not for temporary achievements, but for eternal impact. You are not chasing fame, you are birthing future freedom. You are not chasing comfort, you are forging legacies in fire and tears. You are the kind of person heaven sends when it needs a revolution hidden in a single life. You are the ember placed carefully by the hand of God, destined to ignite a wildfire that no darkness can quench. So hear this and let it sink deep into your bones. You are a legacy carrier. You are a generational architect. You are a spiritual giant disguised in mortal form. You will leave behind more than memories. You will leave monuments in the spirit, living temples of hope, faith, and courage. The harvest you are stepping into now is bigger than houses, cars, or accolades. It is a harvest of influence, transformation, and eternal impact. When the world looks back, they will say, "Here walked a chosen one. Here lived someone who dared to defy fear and build a bridge to heaven itself." And though you may never hear all the thank yous you deserve on this side of eternity, know this: heaven claps louder than earth ever could. Angels record every yes, every step, every sacrifice, and your reward, beloved chosen one, will be immeasurably beyond anything you could have asked, imagined, or hoped. You are planting fields of glory, You are writing chapters of redemption. You are singing songs of deliverance with every silent, obedient step you take. The world may never fully comprehend it, but heaven does, and it is preparing to honor you in ways so beautiful, so profound, that even your wildest dreams will seem small in comparison. You are not laboring in vain. You are building a legacy the stars themselves will stand still to witness, and all of creation will one day declare, "A chosen one walked here, and the world has never been the same." You're not just living, you're rewriting history. Dear chosen one, may peace pursue you like a river that never runs dry, saturating every corner of your soul with unshakable stillness. May prosperity find you not only in your hands but in your heart, a wealth so deep it cannot be measured in coins or crowns. May the spirit of true kingship, the mantle of divine authority, settle upon you like a robe woven by heaven itself, marking you not as one who merely survives, but as one who reigns with grace, wisdom, and unstoppable courage. You have crossed thresholds few dared even to approach. You have walked valleys others feared to enter. You have climbed mountains whose summits were hidden in clouds of doubt and fear. Yet here you stand, not just surviving, but triumphant, luminous, and unshaken. You did what no one else in your county even dared to attempt. You defied the silent expectations, shattered the invisible ceilings, and broke open the gates of possibility where walls once stood. This journey was never about applause or approval. It was about obedience to a call so sacred, so ancient, that even the angels paused to watch. You heard the whisper when the world screamed. You chose purpose when others chose comfort. You built in silence while others laughed in noise. And now, the shift that you initiated will ripple through history long after your footsteps fade from this soil. You have not just lived a life, you have launched a movement. You have not simply endured the years, you have rewritten destinies. Every step you took, every battle you faced, every moment you wanted to quit but stayed faithful anyway, became brushstrokes on a masterpiece far greater than you could see. And now, as the dust settles and the winds of destiny grow fierce with momentum, you must know this with unshakable certainty. You are not just living your life, you are writing history with your breath, your choices, your courage. The future will look back and wonder how the shift began. They will search for the moment when the tide turned, when the fire was lit, when hope was resurrected from the ashes, and they will trace it back to you. To the days you wept but walked anyway, to the nights you questioned but still believed, to the hours you labored when no one noticed, the hours heaven recorded with tender awe. May you walk into every room knowing you carry the weight of divine destiny on your shoulders. May your voice shake the foundations of fear and build cathedrals of hope in the hearts of all who hear you. May your legacy stretch beyond the stars, carving pathways in realms seen and unseen, leaving behind trails of light for generations too numerous to count. And as you move forward, remember this: you were never called to fit in, you were called to stand out. You were never designed for common paths, you were shaped for roads yet to be built. You are not merely surviving history, you are shaping it with your bare hands and brave heart. So rise, chosen one, rise without apology, rise without fear, rise with the full authority of the destiny that has been entrusted to you. Step boldly through the doors that once mocked your prayers, now swinging open at the command of heaven itself. Stand tall beneath the crown no man can place, but only God can bestow. You have done what no one else dared to do. You have pioneered what no one else had the vision to see. You have carried dreams so heavy that they bent the very fabric of the world toward a new horizon. And now, beloved, you are reaping what you sowed. In faith, in tears, in relentless obedience. The seeds you planted in obscurity are bursting into bloom so glorious the world will be forced to stand in awe. The tables you were once denied are now being prepared for you in the presence of those who never believed. The places that once rejected you are now expanding to make room for your arrival. The thrones abandoned by the fearful are being assigned to the faithful. This is your season of vindication. This is your era of coronation. This is your appointed time. The heavens smile upon you. The earth bears witness to your rise, and history etches your name into the chronicles of the chosen, the fearless, the few, who dared to answer the call when it was nothing but a whisper. You are more than a conqueror. You are a catalyst. You are not just winning battles. You are altering bloodlines. You are not just finding victory. You are birthing revolutions in the spirit. You are building altars where ashes once lay, planting gardens where deserts once ruled, speaking life where silence once reigned. The angels celebrate your endurance. The generations yet unborn bless your name in advance. And God, who has seen every secret tear, every lonely decision, every silent act of faith, now raises his hand and says, "Well done, my faithful servant. Enter into the joy prepared for you." You are the fulfillment of ancient prayers. You are the embodiment of impossible dreams. You are the answer to battles fought long before you breathed your first breath. Dear chosen one, you are not just alive. You are rewriting history, and the world will never, ever be the same. In this sacred moment, remember this truth. You were never just surviving. You were being shaped. You were never lost. You were being led. Every tear, every lonely night, every silent prayer you whispered into the dark was heard. And now you are standing at the threshold of the destiny you were always meant to claim. You have done what few even dared to dream. You did not choose the easy path, you chose the eternal one. Now I ask you, what battles have shaped you into the warrior you are today? What hidden dreams are you now ready to bring into the light? I invite you to share your story in the comments below. Someone needs to hear it. Your testimony could be the spark that lights another chosen one's fire. And if your spirit is stirring, if your soul feels the call rising within you, declare it boldly. Type 777 in the comments as a sacred covenant. Not just as a number, but as a roar from your soul that says, I am ready, I am chosen, I am walking into everything God has prepared for me. This is your time, this is your season. Heaven is watching, and the earth is about to feel the weight of your anointing.